Hello and welcome along to the next video in my camper conversion YouTube channel. This video is going to be doing all of the bodywork and prep work before the van goes into paint. It's going to be going in a couple of days time, and in the meantime I've got to get all the bodywork done because I've struck a deal with a body shop where they are just going to paint it. They're not going to do any bodywork, they're not going to do any prep. So basically, if it goes in with dents, it's going to come out with dents. If it goes in with imperfect panels or anything, that's how it's going to come out as well. So I've already spent half a day repairing the back door that had a few big dents in that. There's a video on my channel showing how I've got those dents out and how I've filled in all the ripple work that came after the dents came out. I say that looks really nice now. So that actual back door is all ready for paint. That's all been flatted back already. Now I just need to do the rest of the van. Unfortunately, one of the previous owners has gone over it previously with hammerite with a roller. They haven't done a very good job at all. They rolled up to the roof line and then stopped just here. So you can see every single roller going all the way along the front as well. I say they stopped just there, and you can see it's a totally different shade of colour. So this is going to be going into the body shop and getting a proper layering of 2K paint, but obviously it's going to need a lot of work to get as much, well, all the hammerite off as possible. I've got a polisher. I'm going to be applying some 240 grit papers to that, 240 to 400. We'll see how quickly the hammerite clogs them up. I've managed to get just one panel done at the moment just because that had a little bevel in it, so I've filled that in. That's all looking okay, and with the polisher I've got pretty much all of the hammerite off this panel as well, so it shows that it should come off relatively easily. It's just going to be a case of getting into where, if there's any nooks, crannies, all that type of stuff, that's going to have to get done by hand. I'm going to sand back the roof as well, even though that's the actual original colour when you get onto the actual roof panel, just because there's a couple of little surface rust spots here and there, so I'll take care of those. Same as little bits like that, any sort of areas where there's any surface rust, I'll grind those back, I'll treat those areas, I'll prime them up, just so it's going to be protected just before the van goes in for paint. So as you can see, there's lots to be getting on with, so I'm going to get the polisher out, get it all up, and let the flatten back begin. Right, so there's the driver's side pretty much all done now. Probably looks worse than it is. A lot of the patches are actually just the primer rather than bare metal. Some of it's gone back to bare metal on purpose just to get rid of as much of the hammerite as possible. Other parts have gone back to actually grind off just the smallest of little rust blisters, and I'm not even talking about anything that's broke the metal. This is just stuff that's actually started to break through the paint, but if it's not taken care of now, it's only going to lead to potential problems in the future. And because this is going to be getting a full proper paint job on it, I want to try and make sure that it's going to be protected for years to come, just for the next owner of it. So that's the driver's side pretty much all done now. As you can see, it's managed to get rid of pretty much all the hammerite. It's just taken it all off with a polisher, just with some sandpaper on it, and it's pretty much all gone now. I've got up and done the roof line as well. I've done this side of the roof, I haven't done the passenger side yet, but as you can see there, where the previous owner had rolled up, and I've managed to get rid of pretty much all of the roller, and I've managed to flat back all of the original paint as well. So I'd say that's pretty much all of the driver's side done now. I've got rid of all of the light blue. There's little bits just going around the bevels of the panels that's going to have to get done with by hand, just because the polisher just can't get in without taking it right back to bare metal all the way around, and it would still leave little bits of patches, so they're the only bits that are going to have to get done by hand really. So now it's just going to be a case of rinse and repeat and do all the same all the way down the passenger side and on the passenger roof. Right, so there we go, that is the van as ready for paint as it's going to get. I spent 2 full days taking this back as far as I can. I can't really see any hammerite left on any of the panels. There's tiny little gaps just going around the seams, but that's still all being flattened back as much as I can with sandpaper as well. Dents have been taken out of the back door. All the other sides done as well. I mean, I'm sort of almost liking how it's come out. It would probably look quite nice just with a clear coat put over this. Sort of call it like an Arctic camo blue type thing. But it's not going to stay like this. If it was going to be for me, I would think about it, but because this is just a project van, it's going to just go straight back to almost factory original blue instead. Right, so the day has arrived and the van is now just about to go into paint. As you can see, I've took all the hammerite off. It's been fully flattened back. It's come out quite a nice sort of camo look, and even the paint shop said I should really just clear coat it and keep it as it is if it wasn't for the fact that I had this white sliding door. And I would have actually done that. As I say, it looks really nice with the way it's come out. It was totally accidental, but because I've got a white sliding door and a white rear door, I'm going to go for the standard blue paint instead. So it's just about going to the body shop. As I say, this is a professional spray that it's going to be getting, but the finish is going to be coming down to my sort of bodywork as well. And I know for a fact it's not 100%, but it's a hell of a lot better than what it was when I first actually started. All of the hammerite's gone, and it's going to have a nice primer layer first, then it's going to get a nice coat of blue paint, pretty much back to the factory original sort of colour. So it's just about ready to go. So I'm just going to give it a wipe down and then get it in. Right, so the van's just about to get painted. It's just all been fully masked up, as you can see. It's getting a professional actual paint job on here, so I'll be able to record it as well as I go along. As it's not me that's doing it, so hopefully it's going to come out nicely. We shall see though. As everything's been masked up, all the windows, handles, locks, bumper, lights, everything. So now it's just a case of getting the spray gun out and giving it a once and twice and 3 times over. Right, so just refitting everything back after the paint job, and I've had to go down to the actual length of full dash removal just to be able to get the window wipers back on the front. I didn't have a clue where to start on this, but there's a really good guide online. I'll probably put a link in the description just in case anybody else needs to do a dash removal on Hijet, Suzuki Carry, Bedford, Rascal. It should all be pretty much the same sort of thing, but steering wheel off, clocks off, all the heat controls, complete dash removal, glove box out, and this is what I've been left with. All just to be able to get the windscreen wipers back on, because the stalk on the driver's side just kept pushing back through when I was trying to secure it back in. But now they're on, they're working, they're tested, they're working fine. So now we just have to get all the dash back in again. But once all this is in, that'll be the van fully reassembled after paint, and we'll have a look and see what it looks like then. Alright, well that was a bit of a chore, but window wipers are now back on, both working. Just a bit slow because the battery needs a charge, but both working fine. The rear window is all wired up, all the switches and that are wired up as well. As you can see, the rear wipes working away as well. So now all that's back together, the full dash is back together, all the window wipers are on, that's all the trims are on around all the door shuts, this, that, the other. So now it's just a case of giving it a little wipe down, get rid of all the dust that's just accumulated, and I'll show you the final results, and that will be the completion of this Daihatsu Hijet little micro camper conversion. Alright, so I've just got the van back from paint, and as you can tell, it looks absolutely lovely. The paint shop put a clear coat over the top with some metal flake, and I'm hoping the camera's going to make it out because it just sparkles when the sun hits it. Beautiful rainbow reflection sparkles coming all off the panels. I just hope the actual camera's going to be making these out. Now, as I say, I did all the bodywork, and the paint shop just did the paint. They weren't overly impressed with all the bodywork that I did, because ideally everywhere where I sanded back I should have primed over, filled over, blocked back, but I could have spent a week, 2 weeks just doing bodywork just on this van. I don't have that type of time to spend on it, especially for the price I was paying for the paint work as well, and the difference that it's made just by it coming out now with a fresh coat of paint, especially with the clear coat and the metal flake on. It just looks absolutely lovely. It's absolutely transformed the van. Now when the sun's actually hitting the panels, you can't see any of the dent imperfections where I've done any of the bodywork prep, but when you look at exactly the same panels in the shade, for example around this side, you can start to see just some of the slight swirly marks. For example, in that panel you can just see some of the swirl marks from where I was going around and sanding and polishing. But again, if you looked at this panel later on in the day when the sun hits it, you wouldn't be able to see any of those marks at all, and again all you would see is the equivalent of this panel, which is just shining, sparkling, glittering, lovely, nice and neat. So I'd say that's the only imperfection left on this van now, where you can see is ever so slight prep marks underneath the paint. But I'd say even those aren't very obvious. You need to be actually looking out for them, and if you're just glancing at the van, all you see is just the actual clear coat with the metal flake in, and it's just sparkling away like mad. I'd say the panels were already pretty straight on the van, so they've come out again with no dents or anything. So as you can see there, the panels are all 100% fine. I've managed to get a really big dent out of that rear tailgate. There's a video on my channel showing how I've got a huge dent going all the way around there, and another one around the window wiper. That's already documented on my channel, so do have a look there as well. But as I say, compared to the condition of the van when I first bought it, when it had an absolute piss poor hammerite roller paint job, where somebody had just rolled it up to the roof line just about there and stopped, and now as you can see on the roof line, it's just again nice, neat, shiny, sparkly. I've had the skylight colour coded as well, just so it doesn't stand out a mile away compared to having a white skylight on a blue van. Obviously it still gives a little bit of extra light inside underneath, but it's there more for ventilation more than anything else. But as you can see, all the roof's all sparkly, glittery as well. It's just come out an absolute treat. And so for the price I paid, when I asked the body shop how much they would charge me if I had sent this van in without doing any bodywork prep myself, and if they were going to do everything to get it 100%, and they said you'd be talking around about £2,000 to £2,500, just because of the amount of work that would have been required to go into the van itself. And as I say, when the sun isn't shining on it, it just looks like a bog standard blue paint job, and that's fine as well. It's nice neat blue. It's almost back to the factory colour coded blue as well. It's not 100% match, but it's not far out either. There's a couple of original door shuts underneath the boot lid, just under there, and when you compare the colour of the outside to the original, it's only an ever so slight shade off, but I say you wouldn't even be able to tell really. I say that's down the passenger side as well, and again, all the panels nice and straight. I think there's an ever so slightest of small dent in the sliding door, but even that doesn't really stand out a mile away. And again, it wasn't going to be worth the time and effort to try and get that out, because I could have spent a day or two just trying to get that little dent out just there as well. But as I say, it's a good condition door. The dent doesn't stand out a mile away, so as I say, I'm quite happy with that as well. And I say once the sun hits this side as well, it's exactly the same as the other side. And as I say, that's when you just start to see all the sparkle and glitter and shine. So that's how I have completely transformed the look of this little Daihatsu Hijet camper van that I've built. As I say, I've fully sanded off all of the old hammerite roller paint and all of the original paint as well. That's all been flattened back as well. Done a few bodywork repairs, some dents on the tailgate, a couple of other rust spots here and there. They've all been removed. And then the van's gone in. It's had 4 coats of paint from the paint shop, then 2 coats of clear coat on the top with the metal flake. So as I say, the paint job itself is fully professional. The bodywork wasn't, but it's still come out a hell of a lot better than when it went in the first place. And as you can see, it's totally transformed the look of the van. So now it's just a case of finding a new owner who's going to be appreciative of the work that's gone in and who likes the actual look of the van how it came out. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, do please give it that old thumbs up. Have a look at my channel as well. I've documented every single job that I've done on this, all the way from laying the floor, insulating, making new ply, panels, carpeting, making the kitchen, making the bed, pull out sofa bed, this, that, the other. Everything is documented that I've done on here on my channel, as well as a VW T4 high top I've already done. That's fully documented on there as well. And I'm just about to undertake a little Ford Transit Connect that's going to be my next project. So as I say, if you haven't already, have a look at my channel. Loads of videos on there. Hit that like button if you did find the video useful, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.